Yo.
It's your boy Vulture. I got my boy
Deezy.
We are the ill-advised wise guys.
Check out the full podcast, link below.
Yo. We are the ill-advised wise guys. It's your boy Vulture. I got my boy
Cute Deezy. For Sheezy. It's way too easy. Get him out of here easy.
This is episode 140. Shout out to the gang. We appreciate y'all for pulling up on us. As always, subscribe, like this video, follow us on every social media platform that includes YouTube, Facebook, TikTok as well. We're on
Even though TikTok is not allowed in America no more, apparently.
No, almost. It's almost there. We almost at that point, man.
You know what's funny?
I actually like that.
TikTok is dangerous to the youth. Like I wouldn't mind TikTok at least being limited. Like, get it if you can, get a social security card or something. Then you can get on TikTok or get your driver's license before you get on TikTok.
I just think it should go away just because the Chinese own it and they're trying to dominate America. That's why I trust
the Chinese.
Oh, I ain't got nothing against Chinese people. It's just I just don't see how a Chinese company should dominate. This is not a political episode or podcast. I'm not affiliated with any organization.
There you go.
But I believe Trump did the right thing by trying to ban this joint in the country. I'm just saying. I thought that made sense. Like it just made sense from a
security, IT security
bro,
standpoint.
that makes sense. And this is no partisan opinion. I don't care about none of these people. You know what I'm saying? I care about me. Anyway, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Ill-Advised Wise Guys. This is Q. My name is Uche. That's Leo right there.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? We got a special guest in the building. Say what's up.
Leo, what you think about Playboy Cardi, Leo? What you think about affirmative action?
I think we actually have a jam-packed show for you guys, but I do want to say this. Salute to Detroit YB for pulling up on our last episode.
Yes, sir.
He got some new music out. Y'all make sure to follow him on all the socials and check out the episode that we had with him after you check this one out. Listen, before we get into the topics, I do want to say we have a pre-roll on this particular episode. Y'all make sure to check out Blues by Kayshawn. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Kayshawn James. Check it out.
This shit's forever honor. I mean, it's been a long time I've been doing shit for me. I've been recording with other people, writing verses and whatnot for other people, just doing my thing. But making something for me, aka James, the niggas y'all know, it's been a minute, and I swear, like I said before, this shit's an honor every time. This one's called Blues, and I just want y'all to rock with me on this one. That's it, just rock with a nigga one time, just hear me out. Yeah, look. As of late, I've been working my ass off, getting these thoughts off on this paper. I ain't paper chasing, what comes naturally? How are you mad at me? Part of my latest, stepping the greatness, no longer jaded. Fuck being famous, give me wealth. Though this to a trend since he's out to change a couple of lives, weaving no lies on the instrumental to release the mental. Shed light on a life I've been through. What cars tend to always fall soon. Maybe the reason I jump so hard, maybe the reason I go so hard. Taking the high with the lows, double dutching with my back against the ropes. Blues.
That was Blues by Kayshawn James. Y'all make sure to check that out on Spotify, Apple, any other, audio platforms that you guys listen to music in. Dope brother, dope song as well. Now, what are we talking about on this episode, Q?
Check out ratingsgamemusic.com, aka RGM in other countries. The hottest music review site on the planet. We have a new design, a completely new design. It looks a little more official.
That is true.
I got to choose the font that I wanted on there, so it looks a lot better in my humble opinion.
Yes.
But this week we did an album review for Six Slack. He has a new album called Since I Have a Lover.
Phenomenal
project. I really like the album.
Phenomenal project.
And then we also did an album review for JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown's new album called Scaring the Hoes. Oh my God, what a title. And then we got song reviews by NLE Choppa and Lil Wayne. Dropped a hot single. Young Boy dropped his 100th single of the year. Check it out. Ratingsgamemusic.com, hottest music review site on the planet.
On some announcements for me, I got to make this clear, man, because I realize that we have not been mentioning this at all. We drop clips from the show on YouTube for you guys to check out. So If you're somebody like me, if you're just somebody who has a very short attention span and you only want to check out bits and pieces of the episode or the show that we put out, we put it up on YouTube, man. So y'all make sure to go check out some of our clips. We do a lot of animations and cool stuff with it. So y'all make sure to check that out, man. And then also, as always, man, you guys make sure to check out Zero Skips, the mother effing playlist, man. That joint is going up right now. We just crossed about 100 followers on the playlist.
It's going up on a Tuesday or
every day, man.
Just a regular day?
No, every day is going up, bro. Yeah, we just added some new songs. We have a song by the name of Activated by a gentleman named Tyler Davis. That song is fire. We also have a lady by the name of Karina Barino. She dropped a song named Minute, and a few others. Y'all make sure to go to the playlist. Link in the description. On to the topics. What are some artists that are trending upwards and downwards? Matter of fact, if y'all want to nominate some names for this segment, feel free. You know, Don Toliver, Black, Moneybagg Yo. I know you got a lot to say about Moneybagg Yo.
SG.
ESTG, Coi Leray, the list goes on, but we're going to really get into a few of these names and see where they are in their career at the moment. And then after that, you know, what really makes someone a culture vulture? There's a bunch of people, and this is not just about white people. I know that's like the easy thing to do. And when we have these conversations around hip hop and rap, culture vulture is usually labeled towards white people, but we may extend this beyond white people, right? Culture vulture. You hear that term a lot. What does it mean? Who would you consider a culture vulture? And does it even matter? We're going to get into that convo in a little bit. But first, is being an original artist overrated? Someone who makes different type of music, someone who does things differently. They're, you know, introspective. They're trying to be anti-culture. Is that something that's overrated? I was actually on YouTube. I'll start just to kind of set the stage. I'm going to kick it to you.
Please do.
I was on YouTube. I came across a YouTube short, and one of the shorts that popped up was Danny Brown. Don't know who Danny Brown is. He's from Detroit. He's a gentleman who's been very underground for, I would say, the vast majority of his career. The early 2010s, the 2010, 2011, 2012. He actually made the XXL Freshman cover with Future, Macklemore, Iggy Azalea, French Montana, to name a few. But the point is, you guys may not know this, but he was supposed to sign with 50 Cent and G-Unit Records back in 2010. During those negotiations, 50 Cent was trying to get him to understand that, like, yo, bro, we here to make music and sell records. This is a business. He said, yo, keep all that weird shit. You want to make that weird music? Go in your basement and make it. We ain't here for that. I need you to make songs that people want to rock with. And Danny Brown said, yo, that was the first time he had to really decide as an artist where he wants to go. As a, you know, does he want to take that more traditional route and make music that people already rock with? Or does he want to just keep being different and not necessarily hit the mainstream and ever get that credit? I set the stage with that because I think it's an interesting conversation. Like, if you're an artist who makes different type of music and it's not of the culture, if you will, the mainstream culture, does that mean you're never going to pop? You know, do you bank on yourself and say, maybe people are going to come around to me? Maybe they do. Maybe it's 10 years, 20 years later. Maybe it's too late. Maybe you never get that shine. Listen, before I go all the way in, I want to kick this to you. Like, what is it overrated to be different? Everybody's always talking about, I want to be different. Oh, I make different type of music. Does that even matter? Do the fans even want that?
My short answer is different is great. Different is very good. But, you know, there's something that stuck with me that Detroit YB said on the last episode.
Shout out to Detroit YB.
Detroit YB. He was talking some talk, you know, and one of the things is goals. I think a lot of artists come into the game without a goal. They're just like, I want to make good music. I want people to like my music. I want to make money off music. Okay, how are you going to get there? What is your strategy for getting there? So, in my opinion, if you're an artist that is quote unquote different and making music that is not like the music that you're hearing on the radio, you better have a goal in mind. You better have a path that you are hoping to follow, and you're going to stick with that path to get to success. And at the end of the day, guess what? Eminem was different, right? Eminem Personally, the first song I heard by Eminem was My Name Is. And in that song, Eminem was talking some weird stuff. He was talking about stapling people, and his mom was locked up in the basement, and that was weird. But Eminem has always had a plan. He always said, yo, I'm going to use Dr. Dre, as somebody to help with my beats. I'm just going to be unapologetically myself. I'm going to be violent. I'm going to say weird stuff that I'm going to force you to like. But guess what? Out of all the stuff I said about Eminem, one thing remained constant. He's always been a great rapper. Point blank, period. So you can be as weird as you want. And you can sell us whatever you want to sell us. Mm-hmm. But it always comes back to the main thing. Are you a good rapper? Are you a good singer? And so that, to me, is why I say it's not overrated. It's just you got to have a strategy behind your weirdness.
That's interesting. I mean, you're right. I mean, but see, that's on the business side of things, right? Mm-hmm. You this is beyond just the art. Now we're talking about the business. Mm-hmm. How do you advance at another level?
So now you're saying, how do you advance business wise?
Well, I mean, that's the other part of the conversation. Because like for me, obviously we talked about Danny Brown. Danny Brown just dropped a joint project with JPEG Mafia called Scaring the Hoes. And to me, I feel like while both of those guys they've created a fan base, a real movement for themselves all of these years, but it's been very underground, which you would consider underground. But they do have a fan base. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, they took an untraditional route, if you ask me. Mm-hmm. Somebody like, let's say, Kanye, right? Kanye, early on, we talking about All Falls Down, Jesus Walks, College Dropout. I believe Kanye came into the game making music that was relatively traditional. Like people understood what they were listening to. Now, they may not have liked it. There were people who early on didn't like Kanye's music. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I'm saying like, absolutely, it wasn't like he was making anything unorthodox out the gate. Mm-hmm. It was not until he got to 808s and Heartbreaks, Yeezus. Mm-hmm. At that point, people had already known who he was. Mm-hmm. Then he started experimenting and breaking out and doing other things. So what I'm trying to say is, I think it's actually to an artist's benefit to come into the game making music that people kind of understand already, and then branch out if they're trying to be successful making actual music. And I mean money. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about if they want to go to sleep at night and feel good, right? This is not, I'm talking about on a business level. What are the goals? If one of their goals is to make music that sells, it might behoove them to make music that people already rock with or something similar before they start experimenting. Because you might lose people. And I know it's uncomfortable. It's not uncomfortable for a lot of people. It's uncomfortable.
I hate to get nitpick here, but technically everybody's different. I mean, even though you're a drill rapper, right? Mm-hmm. You can be a drill rapper, but like your voice is different.
Bro, everybody's different.
Right?
Everybody's different.
Your voice is different. Most people, right? Being different is a high risk, high reward type of thing. It's a high risk. Like at the end of the day, you might not get anybody listening to what you're trying to do if you're being completely different and too left field. But
that's a good way to put it.
If you can get somebody to listen to your stuff, you have a really good chance of developing a cult fan base, or you have a good chance of moving hip hop forward. Because guess what? If hip hop remained the same from the 70s, we would be listening to songs like Rapper's Delight today. Every single time there was an artist that was willing to be different that pushed hip hop forward, right? Now think about it. It's so funny because we look at it and say some of the styles of today is normalized, but when it first came out, we were like, what the hell are we listening to? Like Jay-Z created Reasonable Doubt. At that time, it was like people weren't making mafioso hip hop songs. It was different. DMX, what, a dude barking on a song? It was different. But we normalized it. So with that being said, I do think there is value monetarily being different, because you could be that one person that they point to that says you introduced a new style into the game. That gets you a lot of money.
So yeah, no, I agree. I like where you went with it. You said something interesting where you said high risk, high reward. I think that is the appropriate way to label being different before people really get a chance to know who you are. And by the way, all them people you named, most of them, I want to clarify. When I say different, I'm not talking about the way they rapped. I'm not talking about their demeanor on the song.
Saying, okay, so
we're talking musically.
You're saying
different.
You're saying, see.
There's a
now I know because I know you.
Go ahead.
You're saying weird.
I mean, you throw whatever label you want to throw on it.
There's different, and then there's weird.
No, because okay. Here's why I say that.
Okay.
I have no problem with people having their own swagger, their own style of rapping. Like I like the fact that a Playboy Carti toys with his voice. I like that because it's creative, it's experimental,
it's weird.
It forces people to be uncomfortable.
It's weird.
Sure, you keep calling it names, but I don't care about the names. Like,
no,
if you
that matters. What are you talking?
No, but it's different. I'm talking. You're throwing. Weird is a different way I want to spin it. I'm just talking about it's different, and it forces people to examine whether this is something they like or not. Okay. That's what I like. You saying it's weird?
I'm gonna go weird.
But there's people who might not think it's weird.
That's why. Weird.
But hold on, there's people who might not think it's weird. That's why I'm like, eh.
Okay, no, but there's something.
Is that really a word that we want to use?
Let's be real. Danny Brown is a weird artist. He's weird.
So is Childish Gambino.
Childish Gambino, yeah.
But what does that mean?
Yeah, it means something because weird means.
Kendrick is weird.
No, I wouldn't say Kendrick is weird.
I said he is weird.
He's a weird person, or he makes weird music. I don't think he makes weird music.
There are tons of examples of elements within his, whether it's the voices he uses, whether it's his intros.
He hears weird effects. Okay, Danny Brown is a weird artist. He doesn't do anything conventionally. Right. See,
that's the word. Okay. I like that word. Unconventional versus conventional.
No, I like weird because weird is
that's calling people names.
Yes, but weird is you put it as a negative. I'm not saying weird's negative. Weird is you hear it and you're like, I don't know what the hell I just listened to. This is bizarre. Danny Brown makes bizarre music. It's like, what the hell was I listening to?
Correct.
But it's good in my opinion. Just as somebody from because art is weird. Like Van Gogh was weird. What's the other guy? Andy Warhol made weird stuff.
Yeah, people who do something different before it becomes
weird.
The norm.
Yeah,
but sure,
music is art. But like I look at artists like Pink Panthers. It's weird.
Yeah, with the new song.
It's weird music. That's weird to me. A lot of people have heard that type of music before, but there's still like a weird element to it. When you talk about the tempo, the effects and the sounds that you hear. Another person that's weird to me is Doja Cat. Doja Cat does a lot of weird music. I think she does some conventional.
Doja Cat's just a weird person.
And then she's weird, right?
She's a weird person.
But guess what? Doja Cat's selling, bruh.
Yeah.
Better than a lot of artists out there.
Yeah, and so she's a good example, right? Mm-hmm. I think Doja Cat's the actual opposite of what I'm talking about. Doja Cat is a weird person. Mm-hmm. The music she makes, at least the one that's actually getting mainstream success, is not weird. Okay. It fits right within the music that people are familiar with.
You know that song?
Talking about the first song. Get into it, yeah.
That's a weird song, bro. Like, that's weird. Bouncing off the walls in the song, it's weird.
Weird is okay. I just don't, and this is not, I'm not copping pleas for people who think weird is bad or good. I'm just saying, bro, like, weird is good. Weird is good sometimes. And a lot of people we rock with.
Good is bad.
Bad meaning good. Good meaning bad. Speaking of Lupe's weird.
Lupe's very weird. The cool was weird, but I like it.
You see what I'm saying? Yo, but here's the thing.
It was weird, but it was cool, dog.
Bro, Lupe musically, I'm not talking about him. He was weird. A lot of the way he was rapping was weird. Musically, it was not weird. Meaning the beats he was using, it was within pocket of what people can digest
was
already.
Within pockets, but
that's what I mean by like somebody who does it in a digestible way. Whereas I think a lot of times when these artists like a JPEG Mafia, Danny Brown, they're throwing people off musically
because they're not doing anything conventional.
There's nothing they're doing conventional.
I agree with that.
A lot of people will not catch on.
That's a good point.
And that's why the Lupes, even the Wale's to be example. I think Wale's weird.
Okay, now you just no.
What? You don't think Wale's weird?
I'm gonna reserve comment.
Is he weird?
No, he's not weird.
You just been throwing these
No,
words
he's
around.
not weird.
Okay,
He's not
what
weird.
is
He's
he?
not weird. He's something else, but he's not weird.
There's this like misconception with, I think, how people evaluate being weird. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think most times it actually doesn't.
Okay.
Because I think most times it doesn't.
It works. I just think what happens is we don't give them credit after they blow up because we just assume when they were weird is now normal to us. So it's like they were never weird. No, they were weird. It just got normalized.
But let's be clear. There are majority of artists who make it are not quote unquote weird.
Ski Master Slump God.
I said majority of artists who actually are successful, meaning commercially successful, monetarily successful, overground, not underground successful, where all the things you associate with a successful artist are people who are not quote unquote weird. It's people who go right within the mold of what's already normal. It's a fact.
Okay.
You disagree
It
with
might
that?
be a fact, but
All right, man, listen, you're weird.
damn right.
Next topic is the culture vulture one.
Ooh, culture vulture.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of culture vultures out there. Let's be honest.
Well, but what really
Several
makes someone a
industries.
culture vulture? That's the question.
Culture vulture is somebody who sees something that a lot of the people that are doing right now, let's say the popular kids, and trying to emulate it very sloppily, or just trying to emulate it without actually having the experience or living in the culture. They're just trying to emulate it.
Okay.
That would be, to me, a culture vulture. Now, it's funny because when we were talking about this topic, we just automatically brought up culture vultures that were not successful. See, you can be a culture vulture and be successful, or you can be a culture vulture and not be successful.
Correct.
Right? At the end of the day, here we go. I'm going to be nitpicky again. Everybody's technically a culture vulture because everybody steals something from the culture.
This is the ill-advised wise guys.
That's why I said
we are not that type of show, guys.
If you want to be
Ain't nobody being technical.
If you want to be technical, we need to call out the unsuccessful culture vultures.
No, you mean the successful ones.
No, the unsuccessful. We can call them both.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
There's the
Yeah, I
people
see what you're
that
saying.
have stolen the culture
I got you.
and it's bombed in their face.
I agree.
Or we can call out the people that have successfully taken the culture.
I like
and
that.
ran with
I
it.
like
See
that.
what I'm saying? So
I
successful.
I get where you're going.
Everybody makes trap music. Like, everybody talks about getting it out the mud, you know?
Are they all vultures? You know, all right. So here's the thing.
So what is it? That's my definition.
No, I hear you. I
What's
hear you.
your definition of culture?
No, that's fair. Oh, we were on IG Live. I think his name was Knowledge something.
Yeah,
I
Knowledge.
can't remember. But he accurately said, yo, culture vulture is more than just white people. Most people, like, they automatically assume, and that term is only used in hip hop, and it's usually associated with white people when people feel like the white person is not authentic in or isn't really part of the culture. It's usually when you only hear this word. Anyway, shout out to Knowledge. But what I'll say is, for me,
You said a lot of our people are culture vultures.
yeah. And so for me, I think culture vulture, to me, the definition would be like somebody who doesn't really live and breathe and doesn't have a whole lot of real history of the culture. And more importantly, this is an add-on. This is the optional part where they can do it in a distasteful manner. They don't represent the ideals and the morals of this particular community.
Yes.
To me, that's the definition of a vulture. Somebody who's not from there. If you think of what a vulture does, they prey on the carcass of an animal. They didn't kill that animal, but they came in and got the easy win. They came on the backs of someone who really did the work, and they just swooped right in and just got some of that.
Well said.
I think so. From that standpoint, there's a lot of black people, there's a lot of white people. This is not race related, but people make it that, don't they?
But it's 95% of the time is race related. Let's be real.
No. I'm saying it shouldn't be.
No, I agree. But 95% of the cases, I think, are race related.
100%.
Right?
I think it's more
because
than that. I think it's like 99%.
Like, because I'm trying to think while you were talking, I was trying to think of people that are black that are culture vultures. But you know what I wanted to add to what you said about culture vultures is first time I heard that comment was Dipset. I believe it was Dame Dash. And at the time, Cameron and Dipset, they were creating culture with the pink just the flossing, the weird way of speaking of the devil, weird way of rapping that they used. They were creating culture at the time. And I feel like anybody who was trying to step into that culture, they were like, y'all culture vultures. So that's just for me, first time I heard culture vulture. But anyway.
Honestly, first time I ever heard the term used was how people would describe Vanilla Ice. Like ice baby. People used to, and obviously we were too young for any of this while this was going on. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of people around who was around at that time who consider Vanilla Ice. There's some names that I think have been widely referred to as culture vultures. I would be remiss not to mention them, right? People all the time say Macklemore is a culture vulture. Okay. Do I think he's one? I don't know.
But you see,
that's the problem, right? Like, I don't know. What I do know is this: people didn't rock with him after he won Album of the Year over Kendrick Lamar in the Grammys, and I'm one of those people who believe Good Kid, Mad City should have won Rap Album of the Year over Macklemore's The Heist.
We all know
that was the beginning of the end for Macklemore.
Yeah,
people widely considered him a culture vulture right after that.
But it's so funny because he wasn't making like cool music. It was like I was telling you this off the camera. Macklemore has never been cool. Like Macklemore was making colorful music, colorful hip hop music. He could rap his ass off, but he was never cool. And then I think he tried to fight to prove to people that he was cool.
That was his mistake.
So he started making songs. One of my songs I really like, he made a song we had with DJ Premier. It's pretty good. But he's trying to explain why he grew up on hip hop and, why he does what he does. He's over here talking about, I was in the trap. I was, playing dice with the blah, 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 blah in Seattle.
Which to me is the beginning of an end. I don't think that if you really of the culture, you should never have to explain yourself.
You shouldn't have to explain.
It should never happen.
You shouldn't have to explain. And
because your rise should already be documented.
At the end of the day, it's like, the thing that I feel bad for is some of these artists, it doesn't matter. You can tell them you was in the trap clocking in. You can tell them you were doing 9 to 5 shifts in the trap and they still wouldn't believe you. It's funny that you say this topic because Logic came out with an album called College Park. And he's cringe. Did you listen to the intros and the interludes? Jesus. But Logic, that whole album was about his growing up and his come up story in College Park. Even though it's believable. I believe him. I don't need to see his birth certificate. I believe his father was doing crack or whatever he said. Yeah. I believe he's mixed. I believe he struggled. I believe he was probably poor. But when he still tries to do a flip of it was a good day, cooked a breakfast with no heart, it just sounds like culture vulture to me.
Hey.
Like he can do nothing. He can do a song with ESTG.
All right.
And I still wouldn't believe like he came from the streets or whatever.
So let me ask you, because I'm glad you brought up Logic.
Don't understand it.
Because he is probably the first person we should have brought up to drive this damn discussion. I'm gonna be real. Sure. I completely forgot about him. Cringe. Just because why would anybody? Well, that's just I was about to say. Why is anybody thinking about Logic? Logic has fans.
Logic is a
Logic,
great rapper.
I like Logic's music. A lot of it, I should say.
God, he's just cringe, bro.
Yo, we've gotten to the point where people are mad that Logic is using the N-word.
That's bad. That's a bad sign. That's a bad sign.
What is going on in these streets, bro?
He's mixed. I heard him say the N-word a couple times in this
bro, he's
album.
Always said the N-word. Are people nitpicking?
He uses it sarcastically.
Are people nitpicking on Logic?
No,
are they just picking on it?
Logic gives me white vibes. Let's just be real. I've said this on my blog post. I've said this to you in person. I've said it to anybody. I'll probably say it to his face. Logic gives me white vibes.
I agree.
So,
but does that make him a culture vulture to you?
I think he's a culture vulture because I don't think he does culture right. Like,
so
he tries to do culture right. Like, he'll do a song with Juicy J and he'll do a song with all these rappers and he'll talk that talk. But there's just something about it that doesn't feel authentic. There's something about it that's missing. He fumbles with culture.
I agree. He gives me white vibes, even though he's mixed and he talks about it all the time. I go to somebody like MGK. You can make an argument MGK is a culture vulture in the punk world.
When he was a rapper, oh God, he was.
Well, I'm just saying.
Bad.
I'm saying in the punk
the
rock
punk,
world,
for sure.
You can make an argument
for sure
because that's what they call him.
For sure,
they call
him
MGK a culture vulture of that.
For sure.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, although we've narrowed this to hip hop, rap, because that's usually when you hear the word. At least that's when we hear the word. It extends beyond white people, black people. Extends beyond hip hop, rap. This isn't all the other genre. There's people who try to dibble and dabble in these other genres, and the people who are of that culture are like, nah, I'm not rocking with MGK. Get him out of here. I don't think he's doing this justice. There's people who...
No, I agree.
I've heard
I know.
the Lil Yachty album get trashed by the people who like alternative rock and just the different genre, dream pop, what they call psychedelic rock and stuff like that. I've heard people of that culture be like, bro,
because they've probably heard so many semblances of that type of music that they can actually give you a wider range of opinion on it. What it comes down to is my issue with culture vulture is it starts to sway people towards the person that doesn't deserve the recognition. Like if MGK is selling records like 200K, 300K first week off of this new sound that he just kind of fell on his lap after, his rap career didn't pan out the way he wanted it to. It's not fair because there was people in the industry that was working 10, 15, 20 years making that kind of music that never got their time to shine, And then now people think when they think of dream pop and they think of all this stuff, they're pointing to him. That's the problem, in my opinion, with culture vulture. Luckily, that doesn't really happen with hip hop as much, but if I was a rock star or what alternative rock or whatever he does, I would be mad.
I always wonder if rock fans consider rappers who consider themselves rock stars culture vultures. I always wondered that. Like
they can.
But would they be right to say, yo, man, hey, stop stealing our freaking culture?
They'll call them racist. If it's the white rock star, white rock people, they'll be, oh man, what, a black person can't do rock?
I'm a rock star. Like how you
let's be real.
They be like, yo, how you rock star? You don't even make rock music, bro. You make hip hop.
I'm going to be
how you a rock star?
Completely honest with you.
Go ahead.
Ill-advised take, right? I thought the combo about Lil Nas X talking about is Old Town Road is a country song. I didn't agree. Like, it's not a country song. Or if you're going to call it a country song, that is a mockery of a country song. Like, that was a mockery of a country song. Now, my thing is...
That's a hot take.
If he wanted to call it a country song, fine. Let him call it a country song. But it's a mockery of a country song.
I don't like that take.
I
don't like that take.
Horses on the neck. Something more like it sounded like a joke. If let's say a white artist, right?
Okay.
Who looks like the dude that plays Spider-Man or something, right?
Okay.
Came into the hip hop game talking about I'm in the trap with the this that. And it sounds like a complete mockery of trap music. I guess you'll still call it trap music, but I'll call it a mockery of trap music.
Listen, bro.
Old Town Road sounds like a mockery of country music. Personally.
That's a whole other discussion. Listen, I think the song can be considered a mockery. He
was a culture vulture that did it unsuccessfully, but he was able to get money and he was able to blow up off it. I like that song.
So again, before the episode started, I named him. I said you can consider Lil Nas X a culture vulture, and it was for exactly the reasons you said, right? Would I full blown call him that? Yeah, probably. But do I think the song is a mockery? Listen,
in my opinion,
I don't know. I don't know if I go that straight. But do I think do I think he was vulturing off of the country genre? You goddamn right.
Yeah,
you goddamn right. And I don't even think it's debatable. To be honest,
based on all the country songs I've heard in my life, that sounded like a person trying. That sounded like an SNL skit. Just keep it 100.
Yo, like, bro. If a white person,
Rich Brian, is that his name? Rich Brian or Rich Chicka? He used to be called Rich Chicka.
He changed his name. Changed his name. Yeah, of course.
He sounded like a mockery of hip hop music. But the only thing, like I was saying on the first segment, the only thing about Rich Brian is that he can actually rap his ass off. So when it's all said and done, he had that to rely on. Oh, I can rap though. But he sounds like a mockery of a lyricist.
Here's where Lil Nas X effed up. Because if he legit actually gave a damn about whether or not he was considered a culture vulture and he was truly trying to blend genres and stuff like that, why haven't we not heard any country songs since? We haven't heard Lil Nas X, and I've heard both his albums. Where have you heard more country elements infused in his music?
I think that song with Cardi B, you can argue
it's more country than Old Town Road.
No, I didn't say more.
Okay, I'm just saying.
You can kind of argue it is, but yeah.
Like I think,
but it doesn't matter. He can make a country song, whatever. He can make one and then one and done.
Yeah, like, you can, but like it doesn't add to the belief that it was legit. But it don't add to it.
To his defense, he's not running around calling himself a country star. Like, if he was running around calling himself a country star, then yeah, that's a problem. But like, he's not calling. He just made one country song. Like, that's cool. Young Thug made a country song.
About 2-3 songs on it was freaking phenomenal,
like, and it was good.
Yo,
he ain't calling himself a country star. At least
you guys slept on Beautiful Thugger Girls. I'm sorry.
Last topic.
Yeah, last topic of the show. Who is trending upwards and downwards?
You know, I feel like we don't get into this bag enough on this podcast. Just your thoughts on some of the artists right now. You know, like some of the artists, especially the more recent ones. The ones that are up and coming, you know, there's a lot of artists that, you know, from the start of the podcast, we got to see pretty much their debuts. And then what do you think of them now? A follow-up of sorts of your opinion on these people. Because a lot of times we just give our opinion one time and the next thing you know it, like you never get our opinions about them again.
That's a good
point.
Just
kind of just talk about them. So what do you think of them? Are they trending upwards or are they trending downwards? Are they leveling up or are they leveling down?
This is also the segment where, you know, for them people who've been out for a while and we're checking on them now, if you were wrong, hand out some apologies. If you were right,
that's because you just put Don Toliver on there.
No. I'm looking on this. Well, that's one, but I'm looking on this list. I actually have somebody I need to apologize to.
Oh, I like that.
I want to start with this dude because he just dropped a new song. NLE Choppa. I remember when NLE Choppa first came out, Shot to Flow. I mean, what did he have? Shot to Flow 100?
You bashed him.
You remember?
You bashed him. You said there's nothing special about that song. I don't understand why people like it. And I was the one.
You did.
Go check it out.
I didn't think NLE Choppa was great. I thought he was like this. I'm like, yo, why y'all like this 15, 16-year-old kid? Like, bro, he's just shouting. I don't see nothing special. Yeah, he has energy. I could see it making sense here and there, but I don't see him being like a premier artist. Like, I just can't see it. Shot to Flow 1 came out. I thought it was dope. Shot to Flow 2, I was like, all right, this shit is fire. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm like, okay, like, bro, how many more Shot to Flows you got? I can't tell you how wrong I was about NLE Choppa. I have come full circle around from where I was. It's gotten to the point where I've heard this dude within the last year or two. I've heard him make songs with 0607 Shake, where like he does different things musically.
0607.
Wait, did I say it right? What's her name, bro? What's her name, dog?
I think it's
070 Shake.
Yeah,
that's what it is. He's made songs with her.
Macklemore.
He has started to elevate and start dabbling in different areas. Versatile. And I didn't think he was that versatile moving out the gate. And I think this guy is trending upwards. He just dropped
ding, ding, ding,
bro,
ding.
He just dropped
trending upwards.
Bro, he just dropped a new song with Lil Wayne. I thought he snapped and Lil Wayne snapped as well. The song is just works. I've become a fan of NLE Choppa and what he does and what he brings to the rap game. I'm gonna be real with you.
Okay.
And not to mention, like, I like the messages he puts in when he talks. Like, I like this guy.
So you were wrong.
Yeah, I was 100% wrong about NLE Choppa.
All right. So
he's trending upwards.
He was trending down for you at the time, and
yes.
Now he's trending upwards. All right. So here's what I'm going to say. He was trending upwards for me. I always thought his albums were solid. Like, I always gave him like around C+. One thing about him that I always noticed was he had it. He just had that look. At one point, he sounded like a carbon copy NBA YoungBoy. But the last 2 years or so, he has elevated his sound. He has experimented more. He's shown off his versatility.
Yeah.
This year in particular, he dropped a house record.
That's the other joint.
Right?
Oh,
I
shit
love
is
that
fire.
song. Love that song. And then this one with Lil Wayne kind of feels like Shatta flow, actually, but like a renewed and more mature version of NLE Choppa.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's moving great. Like he is a superstar in the making if he plays his cards right.
I agree.
I think trending up was how I had him before. He's still trending up. Next,
Who else we got? Let's go with Ice Spice. What
So,
you think about Ice Spice?
it's been
right
about
now?
a year.
Yep,
I've heard Munch about 1,900 times.
of course.
I personally didn't think Ice Spice had a future. I actually didn't even think Ice Spice was a real artist. I thought Ice Spice was like a TikTok artist turned like, somebody that's, I'll just keep rapping. I'm a little surprised at what, she's been able to do, honestly.
Okay.
Ice Spice, I heard her EP, which is, it's not bad. It's not Illmatic, but it's not bad. And what she's able to do, she has it. I think she has a very marketable sound, a marketable look. So I wouldn't say I was wrong about her. I'm surprised by some of the things she's done,
Okay.
but I think it still remains to be seen if she can have a long career. So
Interesting.
I'm going to use the Trump card and say I'm in the middle. Not quite trending up, not quite trending down.
You're not high on her. yet.
Undecided.
I will say this about her real quick.
Still undecided.
I remember we had an episode where we believe it was right before we went to New York last year, and we were talking about whether drill was dead. I remember the topic very vividly. And I remember bringing up on the show, I was like, yo, I said this verbatim. I was like, yo, there's this girl named Ice Spice that's buzzing.
I remember you said that, yeah.
I had heard of her a week prior to that. And I was like, yo, there's a girl named Ice Spice. Like, she got this song called Munch. Like, it's kind of tight. Like, it actually works. And the reason why I think Ice Spice will blow even way more is because I don't think we've seen Ice Spice before. Like,
I said that. I did say that.
we ain't seen, like, and even at the time when I saw it, I was like, I don't think I've seen this. Like, this is kind of cool. Like, I don't hate it. And so you see, since she's gotten cosigns from the Nicki Minaj's, slowly she got the early cosign from Drake.
I think they see her as a personality.
Yeah. But I'm saying even musically, right? Like, she got the song with Pink Panthers. Sorry. It's tight.
I like it.
I like it.
But I don't like it because of her.
I think she adds to the song. Like,
Okay.
And then do I think it was? Do I think she had the better performance? No, but I think she added to that song, and I could see her getting into different styles of music, and I think because of her style, how she raps, I think it could work.
I think she's
think it can work.
entering a slippery slope where she's becoming a little too mainstream early. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be too mainstream, because here's what I'm going to say. Ice Spice is in trouble because there's somebody named Bia. You guys all know Bia, B-I-A, who sounds very similar to Ice Spice. But I think Bia is a little more disciplined. Bia's lyrics are a little more dynamic, a little more just quality. So I think Bia can actually end up taking Ice Spice's spot. So
Interesting, but I will say Bia was out before Ice Spice.
She was, but she sounds like Ice Spice because nowadays she's doing drill. I heard like 2 or 3 songs with Bia where she's doing drill.
Agreed, but I will say Ice Spice appears to be the people's champ
for now.
That is just what it appears to be.
It's funny.
Now that fluctuates.
It's funny because I think about this. I know this is going to make y'all think I'm crazy, but I remember this quote. I believe it was Top Dog. TDE. When Tanashi came out with 2 On, it was a major hit, and she was affiliated with the Top Dog TDE crew.
Okay.
Right? And then suddenly, I don't know what happened. There was like paperwork that messed up or something like that. And I vividly remember, I may be wrong, maybe I was dreaming that day, but I vividly remember either Top Dog or somebody else within that crew saying, we're not worried about Tinashe. We have somebody else on the roster. We have Janae. I feel like Janae Aiko kind of took that Tinashe spot, and then Tinashe faded to the back. I think if Ice Spice is not careful, Bia's going to take that spot, and she might end up fading to the back.
That's interesting. I mean, we'll see. Don Toliver, What are your thoughts on Don Toliver, man?
Okay, so I was not high on Don Toliver at all. I was kind of trolling, to be honest with you, but
You were dead ass, but you were trolling.
I was trolling.
But you were trolling, but you were dead ass.
I was trolling, but I wasn't really high. I didn't see the future in Don Toliver. I thought he was weird. As time has gone by, I have become a major Don Toliver fan. I think Don Toliver, he's just different in this world that's.
Can you just look in the camera and just apologize to him?
I'm looking at you, Don Toliver. I think he's just different, man. He's refreshing sound. I mean, when I first heard his voice for the first time, I wasn't really sold. I thought it was a little bizarre.
Right.
But like as time going by, like one thing that I really love about Don Toliver is he understands his sound. And going back to kind of the thing that we said in the second segment. Or the first segment about being weird and stuff like that. If you're just consistently staying true to your sound, eventually it's going to either click with people or, people are going to adapt. And I think he has done a fantastic job of hammering his sound into our heads. And it worked for me. I'm sure it worked for a lot of people. And I think he's leveling up, man. I think he's up there. Not a great look, I will say. Not a great look. With his last album not selling great. That was not a great look, especially with Yeet outselling him. But I think he's trending upwards.
I agree. It wasn't the best look, but I bank on the music. I think the music is great. And so I think as long as that continues to stay where it is and keeps elevating, to me, like all that other stuff going to fall into place, if you ask me. But yeah, man, for me, I think Don Toliver, man, I've been big on him from the beginning, as you remember. But, like, I just think he's going up. He's going to keep going up. I've compared him a lot to me, like Ty Dolla $ign. Mm-hmm. And he's, I think, well beyond. I think his trajectory is well beyond where Ty Dolla $ign's was. Mm-hmm. But in terms of, like, how dynamic he is as a musician, I just see Don Toliver working with so many different types of artists. And having so many different styles of music that he's on. I mean, if you look now, he's on everybody's album. He's on Black's album. He's on Wizkid's album. He's on Kali Uchis's album, obviously his girl. But if you look at even those three albums, musically, those are three different type of artists.
Oh yeah.
So that's my point. Like he just has a different type of style where he can really morph and do different things.
He sounds cool.
Yeah.
Like he adds a cool element to your song. Now, like I said, he's trending upwards, I would say. I'll be nice and say that. But
Coi Leray.
Oh man.
Coi Leray.
Matter of fact, she has a song called Up, I believe. Contrary to popular belief, and I know everybody's going to say I'm capping, the first time I heard Coi Leray, I actually said, wow, like she's really good. And this is when she was bouncing off the walls on that song with Lil Durk, the remix with Lil Durk. No More Parties.
No More Parties.
Crazy. If you actually listen to what she's doing on that song, she sounds crazy. When I heard it, I said, yo, there's something here. I mean, she sounded like
Dej Loaf.
Dej Loaf. I thought, damn, she sounds like Dej Loaf, but like a little crazier, a little more experimental. Since then, I don't know if people have been paying attention. Coi Leray has dropped lyrical bangers, club bangers, old school sounding hip hop bangers, R&B bangers. Has featured on great songs. Like Coi Leray is easily one of the best artists in the game right now. Easily. I don't think it's debatable.
Yo.
And her Player song might be the best. Let me not say best. Might be the most popular song of the year from a hip hop standpoint.
I want to give us a pat on the back.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember.
We deserve it.
Bro, I remember very vividly. I remember this like it was yesterday. Trendsetter, her debut album dropped.
I love that album.
Last year, people trashed her because she sold 11K first week.
Oh, I hated that narrative.
Right? Mm-hmm. They trashed her. They said, oh, man, she's trash, man. The music. Bro, I don't see. You see why it's not okay to get caught up in the sales? Mm-hmm. Because you ignore the music. The album is good. That was a really good album. Mm-hmm. And we said it when it dropped. I stand on it now. It's not a coincidence that what you just said, she's been dropping bangers since. Mm-hmm. The talent has always been there. It's still there. To act like it's not there, it just means you don't like her. Or you don't want her. You don't want to see her win, which is cool too. I'm not mad at you. But don't act like she ain't talented, bro. Like she's had it from day one. And it's not a surprise. I'm not surprised. that she dropped.
I'm not surprised.
Players, she's on these joints. I'm just not surprised.
I'm not surprised. Like, she gets it. Like, she's moving.
I'm just not surprised.
She's one of the few artists that, in my opinion, are moving the needle. She is trending upwards. I really love
Coi Leray about to be out of here, dog. In a second,
she should be out of here.
She's already past hip hop in a sense. Although she did the Grandmaster Flash sample, which is I think that was her attempt to get core fans back, and I think the shit worked.
Of course,
because the song is just so good to me.
The song is. First time I heard that song, I was like, "Yo, this joint is fire." Let's do one more.
Moneybagg Yo. Let's end on Moneybagg Yo. So for me, man, listen, Moneybagg Yo. I'm gonna be brief with y'all, man. I think he's trending downwards. You know, it pains me. It really does. It pains me to say this. I was once a Moneybagg Yo apologist, damn near. It's not that I didn't see his flaws, because, I mean, I'm not saying he's the best artist in the world. Hell no. I just thought that, what he brings to the table, it had a lane, and at the time, it did. My problem with Moneybagg Yo is he went commercial way too soon. He switched up his sound and is trying to do this pop-ish, but still keep the street element.
Pop.
The trap pop, whatever version of polished trap music, like for example, the flip he did to How's It Going Down with DMX.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's a radio song.
Yeah.
That's a pop trap, whatever you want to call that. And don't get me wrong, I like that song, but I just don't think that that's where his career should be trending. I thought he should have stayed more street. I mean, it's cool, do that, but then do other stuff. But I think his sound just got too watered down, and he started focusing on making more commercial songs. And I just don't think that's the mode for him. So for that reason, he's trending downwards. Moneybagg Yo is trending downwards.
Yeah.
I don't see him getting out of this hole unless he goes back to the element, the street element, which I do believe he's capable of doing. I just think he gotta go back.
This is not the end all be all for him. The one thing that is unfortunate about musicians, particularly rappers, is when they find one sound, sometimes they listen to the fans and like, oh, the fans like this sound. And then they double down, triple down, quadruple down on that sound. For example, Tyga. I remember when Tyga was making pop hip hop music. Like, I'm talking, Tyga was making stuff that end up on Kids Bop, right?
You mean put that lime in the coconut and twist it all up? Put that lime in
that album, we know that album very well. He somehow found success in the strip club music, right?
Yep.
Then everything he started making sound like strip club music.
Yep.
Then after that, people were like, all right, we want something new from Tyga. He found success in Taste. Then he started making everything that sounded like Taste. He never really got a chance to diversify his freaking portfolio, his resume. I think that's what happened with Moneybagg Yo. Moneybagg Yo was on a great trajectory, like making really good trap music. We're talking romantic trap music, tough trap music, club trap music. Then he stumbled upon Waukesha.
That was the one.
Waukesha
That was the first one that opened it up. That was to open it up.
It made him a megastar. Moneybagg Yo, that album that has Waukesha is one of the highest selling hip hop albums in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, it was
right?
Gangsta Pain.
Yeah, Gangsta
I believe
Pain.
it was
One of the
Gangsta
highest
Pain.
selling hip hop albums in the last 2
of 2021.
Yeah. I feel like since then, not only has he been taking his time with releasing new stuff, but everything that he released kind of sounded like Waukesha. Waukesha was lightning in a bottle to me. And I wished he would have pivoted to like something different. So with that being said, if he can get off that Waukesha train, it's over. Like, we want something else, not Waukesha, which I think that DMX, How's It Going Down song sounds like Waukesha. Mm-hmm. If he can get off that train. By the way,
that one worked as well. But that was the last. Then he did another one, I believe it was called Quickie.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, bro.
It worked, but it's like, you think it worked. It resonated with people because people were comfortable with it. But as an artist, when you're that big, success is when you make people uncomfortable. And I think he just kept making comfortable hits. So like right now, I would say he's trending downwards. But if he can like just come up with something new sound, he definitely can get back on track.
We shall see. Anyway, I think we've reached the end of the episode. If you guys have made it this far, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're watching this on YouTube, of course. Also, while you're there, make sure you hit that like button, leave us a comment, leave us a review. Man, get in contact with us and make sure to subscribe on every platform. That means Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Engage with us when we drop these clips as well. Shout out to y'all for making it this far, man. Any last words?
Free Trump.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like, nah.
As always, if you're giving advice, just make sure it's ill.
Yes, sir.